up, virtual people? Welcome to episode 80 of VCR Redux. We take your favorite franchises out of the analog era and bring them back to 2022. I'm your host, pop culture punk Chris Stiles, joined as always by my co-host with the most, film professor Ian Klink. And I think we just lost the professor. He was here and he just disappeared. He'll be back. There he is, sort of. At any rate, film professor Ian Klink, folks.
Can you hear me?
Yeah, we can hear you. Yes, keeping us in suspense to the last minute. And we have three radical guests on the show tonight. First up, our own honorary third host from Rick Barth in the line. Oh, Mickey, you're so fine. Mickey Torres is on the show.
What's up, everyone?
And back by popular demand, she runs an audio and post-production facility where she's produced dozens of special edition DVDs and Blu-rays, the latest of which, Earth Girls Are Easy, is available on Blu-ray now. Melanie Mullen is on the show.
Okay, when you say popular demand, who are you? Who are these people?
This is the VCR fan base. If we have 2 weeks without Melanie, they're just like, what is going on? Is the show canceled? What's happening?
Yeah, I'm sure. Hi, everybody.
They're sending emails. They're putting messages in bottles. They're
I bet. Hi,
our tens of viewers are vocal. All right. Any rate, making his VCR debut, Fandom Spotlite's newest writer, Martin Maruri, is on the show.
Hey.
All right, guys, we are here today to feather our hair, throw on our spandex pants, and party like it's 1985. That's right, folks. This world needs Wedding Singer 2 behind the music, and we're here to give it to you. But before we can lick the microphone like David Lee Roth, we need to talk about how Wedding Singer came into our lives and what we love about it. And of course, that includes everyone watching the live chat as well. Was it love at first Laserdisc, Vital VHS? Hit us up in the live chat and let us know how Wedding Singer came into your lives. So, Melanie, do you remember the first time you watched the Adam Sandler masterpiece, The Wedding Singer?
I actually do.
Yay. VCR first.
I actually saw this in the theater when it came out with my dad.
I was gonna ask you. I'm like, you saw this with your dad, right?
I did. No, and it's great, and it fucking holds up. Like, it's so, like, I can watch this. How it's been almost 25 years now, and it's still great. I consider it Adam Sandler's best movie. I absolutely love it.
I consider it his best, and it's not even close. And I love a lot of Sandler movies, but it's his best by a ridiculous margin, in my opinion. Martin, do you remember the first time you watched Wedding Singer?
I don't remember the first time I watched it, but growing up, Adam Sandler was in my household every day. I was watching Sandler movies, whether it was Happy Gilmore or Billy Madison or Big Daddy, whatever was. I was obsessed with Adam Sandler movies, but The Wedding Singer was the one that was on the most, because I do think it's his best movie as well. It has everything.
It does. I mean, if you really think about it, Sandler has a few, most SNL stars turned, SNL, cast that turned into movie stars have a couple little tricks in their tool bag that they do very well. And Sandler's are all on full display in this movie. Yeah. You've got the I can be really timid and talk kind of like the Incredible Hulk, huh? He does that thing, and then transitioning into once again, things that could have been that whole screaming thing. And then he's quasi musician-y. So this movie really does get to show off all of Sandler's talents. Mickey, do you remember the first time you watched The Wedding Singer? Tell me it's a date, because I feel like this had to be a date.
Well, I was seeing the girl at the time, so yeah.
Okay.
That was a date.
Mac Daddy Mickey Torres never disappoints.
Always.
And what are we talking about? Where's the theater of choice for The Wedding Singer? Where do you take your lady for a night on the town? What's your theater?
I feel like it was in Piscataway. I don't know. I feel it was I think it was a Piscataway.
Okay. So, nothing reeks of class like taking the old lady to Piscataway for a night.
We might have even hit Applebee's afterwards. I don't know.
Oh my God. Applebee's, that's almost as good as gas station pizza.
Better than gas station pizza, in my opinion.
Ian, tell us about the first time you watched Wedding Singer.
Can you guys hear me?
Yes, Grandpa.
I can hear you all the way from the China Club.
First off, whatever. Secondly, I can't figure out these doggone cell phones. Anyway,
Because you're looking all of the boomer that you are in that picture.
you like this? It's a good background.
Oh my God.
This is what Zach Morris and I. This is what we have in common. These backgrounds. All right, calm down.
Yes.
Yes, I do remember the first time I saw The Wedding Singer. This was definitely a rental from the Eldridge Community Public Library, who had a great collection of VHS movies. All right, so
there's no wrong way to eat a Reese's, but you may have done Wedding Singer in a strange way.
No, sir. I
the public library
meant to be. That's right.
Yeah, that's
I'm not going to pay to see this. I'm not going to pay money. All right, like
why? It's a good movie.
Yeah, it's the peak of Sandler comedies, hands down.
First off, that sentence you said never was uttered by anybody.
It was just uttered by the first three people on the show.
That's it. Okay. Two of you are somebodies. One of you is nobody. Which one are you, Mickey? But secondly, shut up, Chris, because we had this talk the other day about how much you hate Little Nicky, which shame on you.
I do hate Little Nicky too.
Well,
Thank
Mickey,
you, Mickey.
we're longer friends again. Every time we become friends at the end of a show, you come in and say something so asinine that I have to end our friendship again. It's okay.
How can you stomach a whole movie of that voice?
This is my thing, right? Sandler, like I'll admit, he does voices well, but any movie where he does the whole thing and he talks like this the whole time, it's fucking annoying. Like those are characters that are great in SNL bursts. Like I would have rather seen Opera Man. Like if he's gonna do or Cajun Man as a movie, like those are better and less annoying than like Hubie Halloween or the Little Nicky voice. Or
I do like
even
Hubie
the
Halloween.
Waterboy. Like even the Waterboy to me is a couple notches below like the top tier because of that.
Cut off his mic. He just said he likes Hubie Halloween.
I like Hubie Halloween.
Oh, you did? You said that?
I like it. It was cool. It was cute.
Yeah,
it was.
Yeah, Chris. He said that. Yell at him now. Stop.
It was
yelling
cute.
At me. This little turd.
I can't stay mad at Mickey.
Just for educational purposes, I decided to look up The Wedding Singer on Rotten Tomatoes.
Okay.
Critics, it has a 69.
Yeah.
69.
Yeah. And then audience score, it has an 80%. So Ian, you are in the minority here, and you're wrong.
Yeah, you're just plain wrong. So Ian's got the gripe today. What more could you want out of a Sandler film, Ian? I need to know.
Look, all right. I will admit to you, there are 3 Sandler movies, all right? There's the stupid ones, like the voice ones, like, Hubie Halloween. God, Mickey. Then there's the ones that we can all stand, where he's like normal Sandler, right? 50 First Dates, Click, though,
Punch Drunk Love.
Click's okay.
That's the third category. Then there's serious.
Punch Drunk Love to me is outside the comedy realm. Like,
well, of course, that's what I mean. It's a third category. It's drama Sandler.
But that's like Spanglish, and I like that.
I love Spanglish. I love Spanglish.
Okay, now Mickey
Rain Over Me. Yeah, Rain Over Me.
Yeah.
Now
Rain Over Me was good.
He mentioned Rain on Me. Now we're not friends anymore. I can't stand this roller coaster ride you're doing to me, Mickey.
I mean, what was wrong? I mean, I don't know. Sometimes you're a man of mystery too, Ian, because you're quoting the English Patient, and then meanwhile you like meatballs.
I would say Little Nicky's better than Jack and Jill.
He
Jack and Jill, you know what Jack and Jill is? Remember the movie Funny People, where you see the posters of Sandler's head on a baby's body? That's exactly what Jack and Jill is to me. It's like the baby head movie, like redo, like that figure, like you know, making fun of what a Sandler movie is. That's exactly what Jack and Jill was at that point. And so was like I Pronounce You, Chuck and Larry. Like that was just like, oh my God, like how far we've fallen. And like that movie is not aged well at all.
But then he comes back with That's My Boy. That's My Boy is man, that's an awesome movie.
That's My Boy though is in the funny language Sandler though.
I put it in the wedding singer kind of category as far as like he was.
Really?
This is a good time for me to transition to the live chat before I talk about my first time watching Wedding Singer, because there's some love for Uncut Gems in the live chat as well. I just want to shout that out. But also wanted to say hi to everyone there. I see Christine Pearson, Alex Bonafonte, Angie Saunders. Thank you so much for tuning in, guys. Brad, Carlos FM. Some love for the soundtrack. I Want to Grow Old with You. That is one of my favorite soundtrack songs, and I kind of liken it to the song at the end of Walk Hard, the Dewey Cox story. It's a very, very well written song, even though it's in kind of a silly comedy film. But It's a Beautiful Life and I Want to Grow Old with You are like legit masterpieces of songwriting. And I don't care what you say, so is the Growing Pains theme song, while we're talking masterpieces of songwriting. A lot of people saying they saw Wedding Singer on VHS. Adam Sandler is my favorite, but Wedding Singer is my all-time favorite of his. Some people, Gold's Code, I'm calling him out, is sticking up for Hubie Halloween. Alex Bonafonte says...
I was gonna say, like, Gold's Cold is like, I don't know what's up with that guy, but now I like him. We're back.
I'm sure he'll be making fun of you at some point in the live chat. He loves to he picks on Mickey for some reason. Someone's got to stick up for Mickey in these circumstances.
They always pick on the bad guy.
Also, Fandom Spotlight Kyle saying I really enjoyed Hubie Halloween. And also some people agreeing with me that Opera Man would have been a better movie. At any rate, so I remember my first time seeing Wedding Singer quite well. It was in theaters. It was, I guess, the like February of '98. I went to this new theater in Crystal Lake, Illinois, which was really fancy, where you could, if you got these certain seats, they could bring your snacks to you. It was like the beginning of that. It was like the pre-beta version of a dine-in theater. And they had these really fancy screens that were slightly what?
I've eaten there.
You know what I'm talking about? That theater in Crystal Lake?
I know exactly what you're talking about.
So this was like right when this fucking place opened, right?
We were probably in the same place, eating the same hot dog and chips.
No, I would never get fucking hot dog from a movie theater. I'm not a psychopath. Mr. Gas Station Pizza, Mr. Sushi, Mr. Gas Station Sushi.
If you build your stomach to be tough, you can eat whatever you want.
Yeah,
and you'll survive.
That's right, Chris.
My stomach is years as my fucking Hawaiian shirt. All right?
He has years of gas station pizza, so his tolerance is like pretty high.
I believe your stomach is a cast iron beast, and mine is like a paper champion.
To us right now, and she knows where you live. All right, so call.
I'm just saying, Crystal Lake, Illinois. What a wonderful place to be. They built this theater, and do you remember this, Ian? The screens of that theater were slightly curved towards the audience. Yep. They were like, suppose the opposite of our TVs, which were like convex or concave or whatever. But I remember thinking like, wow, this is the way seeing movies is going to be in the future. The screen's going to curve around the whole, theater. It was like this sort of mock IMAX type of thing.
I kind of hated it because of that. Like it looked bad because they would stretch the ends of the film. So like it was weird.
Yeah, I remember looking for that and not being able to find it, but you may have had a more acute eye than I did, which would make sense because I refused to wear glasses or anything until I was like 14 and I was blind as shit. But I love The Wedding Singer, saw it many, many times in theaters. I was a huge Sandler fan already. Like I was the kid that showed everyone Billy Madison when that came out on VHS. And like, we all saw Happy Gilmore in theaters, but like it all was like a build up. Bulletproof was another fucking outstanding Adam Sandler movie that doesn't get enough love, but to me it all builds up to the masterpiece that is The Wedding Singer. The Wedding Singer is from the minute I saw the trailer, I was like jumping out of my seat to go see this movie because I was already obsessed with the 80s, and here was a movie that like sort of celebrated that for me and like vindicated me on all that. And like I was the only kid laughing hysterically when his brother-in-law, hold on, I'm watching Dallas. I think JR might be dead or something. They shot him. Like to me, that was just like still one of the funniest stupid jokes ever.
Or like the commercial, like I like old Coke because it tastes like old Coke. I don't like new Coke.
How many times my roommate Steve says that to me, making fun of me because I'm like, well, they don't make things like in the 80s. And he's just like, well, I like old Coke better than new Coke. It's old, and so am I. And it's true. I have become that guy. And I thought that joke was amazing back then. Even the guy wearing the fucking Frankie Says Relax t-shirt, like, you know what you must do. I mean, I could turn this could easily turn into a quote fest, but it's a perfectly well-rounded Sandler cast. You have Christina Taylor, you have obviously Drew Barrymore, just perfection. Everyone, even his brother-in-law, I forget the actor's name, and I'm terrible about this on the show, but he's in Godfather 2, he's in Goodfellas, and he's in Wedding Singer, and I haven't seen him in any fucking thing else. And the guy like does a movie once every 15 years, and they're always masterpieces. And the whole speech that he gives to Robbie, like, I know you were in love and everything, but that was off. Like, that whole thing, like, but now the thrill is gone. Like, if we get a moment together, we usually go to sleep, and then going on about like the nipple twisting. And this is like, I don't know how you get this guy to do that, but it's outstanding. And like, I'm sorry to do this, but the way he like, the kids are like, are you going to go to the mental institution? Cuckoo's nest, cuckoo's nest. He runs in like, shh. I remember what we talked about. Like, that is just so real. That is just one of those fucking amazing moments in this movie. And the movie's got 1,000 of them. But yeah, I mean, I love the love story. Like, it's one of my favorite rom-coms ever. Like, it works even aside from being a classic Sandler movie.
To this day, go ahead. I'm sorry.
I was gonna say I love the old lady in this who was also in Studio 54.
Oh yes.
I forget her name again as well.
Ellen Albertini Dow.
Albertini Dow. Yes, thank you.
Who did not even who was alive until 2015.
Yeah,
Jesus. Man, good for her.
She was 101.
This is the one where she does the Sugarland gang, right? The hip
Sugar Hill.
That's why I said Sugarland gang.
Sugarland.
the Sugar Bear 5.
Whatever, Mickey. You knew.
Yes, this is the one. But like even that part,
they play
like
Candyland while they're rapping.
That's right. No shoot ladder for you, mofo. But that's right. That's the one where she does that one, right? Hip hop. You don't stop. Yeah, it's okay. Don't take us.
So you had to try, right? You had to try.
Coming straight out of Iowa, folks.
Fine, whatever. No, I mean, no moment will ever beat when I think is Alexis Arquette.
Oh, it's doing the Boy George.
The great Alexis Arquette is amazing.
Do you really want to hurt me?
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh my god. But it's not when he sings. It's when the one guy goes, "You suck."
The Steve Buscemi part to me is like
I mean, what a way to open a movie, right?
Yeah.
Like, just let Steve Buscemi just take you to the fucking heavens of comedy gold. The best man speech, right? I threatened my brother. My brother made me a best man in his wedding, and I tried to get out of it. I said, dude, I'll fucking do the Steve Buscemi speech. Like, don't make me do this shit. And he's like, no, it's cool. I know you're just joking. I'm like, no, I'm not. I'll do the Steve Buscemi speech. He's gonna get married again, and if he does, this time I am doing the Steve Buscemi.
Oh, you're getting a second chance.
I'm getting a second chance, and this time I'm doing.
So you're getting a sequel. You're getting a sequel.
He's getting a sequel, not me. I'm just a fucking speech guy. I'm just a cameo guy. But to me, I mean, I'll get into this. I've always been fascinated with his character in this. It's like one of my favorite Steve Buscemi roles ever, and I always want to see more of that role. And I might be pitching something about that in about 10 minutes time.
I do like him in Big Daddy too.
Oh
He's
yeah.
great. Yeah.
And
Airheads. All the stuff
yeah,
with
that one
Sandler.
too. But what's the other Adam Sandler one that came around the time with John Turturno?
Mr.
Deeds.
Deeds.
Mr. Deeds. Buscemi in that one was awesome too, with the big eyes, and he
The
can't
crazy
see.
eyes or something. Yeah.
Crazy eyes, yeah.
How dare you bring up Mr. Deeds?
That was a decent movie. I like Mr.
Yeah,
Deeds
it was
too.
okay. It's like, yeah, I remember seeing Mr. Deeds and thinking like, well, the jokes made me smile. They didn't make me laugh, but you know, it was okay. It was
I've seen
fine.
that movie one time. I think out of all of Adam Sandler's movies, the only ones I've probably gone back to Wedding Singer more than any of them. But, you know, I've seen Billy Madison several times, Happy Gilmore several times. After Wedding Singer, all of the movies he's put out have been like one-time watches for me.
Even Big Daddy?
Big Daddy is pretty good.
Yeah.
But and I've seen it a couple times. I remember seeing that at the movies, but you know, Wedding Singer is the only one that I feel like it doesn't matter how much time has passed. It's not like, it's not even corny. Like Big Daddy is good, but it has some corniness to it.
Oh, for sure. Yeah.
And to me, Wedding Singer is not even, it's not corny. It's just funny.
I put
and it manages to be heartfelt without being dumb. And
I put Wedding Singer with like Clueless and Romeo and Michelle. Like I feel like they're movies that you just have on like all the time and just like, you know, like
yeah.
and you just watch them and
Definitely
stuff.
second that.
Well, certainly AMC has it on all the time. This is true.
I guess AMC does. I mean, I don't know. I don't really watch
Cable, yeah.
cable too much, but see, to me lately AMC's had nothing but mob movies on, which you know, I understand for several reasons. We just lost a couple icons in the genre.
I look at the DVD.
I know, yeah, right. I'm such a fuck, such an asshole.
What a wet turd! Like just a chart that happened out of nowhere. There's Chris Stiles.
There he is, folks. Pop culture punk.
You know what forgets me in the movie every time too is the old man at the bar.
Oh, I love him from Halloween 4.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, exactly.
Oh my god.
It sounds
You get
like
close
a
to him,
country
and what do
song.
they do? They rip your head out of your ass.
Yeah.
And he goes to try to fight the dude too.
I used to be much stronger.
Yeah.
So good.
Sounds like a country song.
Yeah.
I mean, like, to be honest, there is that Wedding Singer is about the most perfect movie ever. I mean, you got like
It really is.
every scene is great. There's not a scene where you go like, that wasn't great.
It is one of my favorite opening sequences. Like, to a movie.
Oh, dude, yeah, everything about it. I mean, like, simple as fuck, but like him calling out like Uncle Marty, like,
yeah,
and like, you know,
the guy,
Grandma Molly, I'm talking to you. Like,
the guy dancing with the old lady, and each time it cuts to someone's name, another piece of clothing is gone.
Oh god, yeah, the shirtless guy, and like, dude, all that shit, like it brings back so many memories of like all the first weddings I went to were 80s weddings, and like I see the big hairs and like the brides with like Rambo headbands on and shit, and like, you know, there's always the kid with no pants and the guy with no shirt, and then like the, you know, the next door neighbor who gets drunk and who's hitting on the DJ, you know.
Chris, you're trying to relive these early moments of your life. That's your life you're looking for. You're looking for an 80s wedding.
Basically, yeah, but I don't ever want to get married or anything like that. I just want to I just want to sing in an 80s wedding. I just want to be Adam Sandler in this movie. I don't want to be a songwriter. I just want to be a wedding singer.
I don't know why, but like it was a few, you know, months back or whatever like that. For some reason, I was watching The Wedding Singer again and whatever, and I'm sitting there going like, you know, that's what I want. Like, I didn't like, you know, I got married one time and that was like a Vegas thing and everything else like that. And that was, you know, that was what it was. But like, you know, I think about like, I want, if I do a second wedding, the whole journey, the whole like orchestra playing the, you know, Don't Stop Believing. Like, to me, I thought that was like so cool. Like, yeah, I thought that was so cool. Like that, just that thing.
It
And
was a
then
nice touch. That was a really nice chef's kiss moment there.
I was like, I never
Um,
thought about that. Like taking an 80s song and like doing like an orchestra version of it for like your like wedding song or something like the walk, the bride
And it's
walk or
perfect.
whatever.
It works so well too, because when the violin takes like the lead melody and they crank
Yeah.
the reverb as everything's going to hell.
Yeah,
what I
yeah.
mean? It basically indicated that she was not coming today. It really has this twisted sound to it at that point, and like it just works so well. God, everything about this movie, I mean, I put it in that category of like, and this is going to sound silly, but like Back to the Future or Terminator in terms of how tight the script is. There's not a wasted moment in the film,
I will say
and they
that. I
knew
will
exactly
agree.
what to cut and where. And it's funny because I've only seen one deleted scene of this, and it's a scene that was reinserted for some reason on the Blu-ray. Wasn't in theaters and it wasn't on DVD.
Yeah, I have the
But I don't know.
DVD and I didn't see that scene.
So there's a scene, and you see it in the trailers, where Ellen Albertini Dow is she's like lifting a weight. She's like doing this.
Oh
She's kinda, like,
yeah.
you know what I mean? She's looking
Mhm.
back at them and whatever. So that scene is after Christina Taylor is like, I want to go out with Robbie. And so basically that scene is he's talking to her and she's working out and she's like, are you nervous that you're gonna have to show someone your penis? Like, she's making all these penis jokes, and it's hilarious. And he just keeps on being mortified, like, I don't want to talk about that. And then Julia comes over and it's like, hey, do you want to go out with my roommate Holly? And he's like, oh yeah, like Holly wants to, it's this awkward scene. I could totally see why they cut it, but it seems like a television scene, like one of those scenes you put back in to like fill the runtime on something. But I don't think I've seen it on TV either, because
Yeah.
it's just this old lady saying penis, penis, penis. I don't know. If you know the scene I'm talking about, hit us up in the live chat. But at any rate, we are almost at the pitching time. So I do want to encourage everyone who is in the live chat also to hit us with your pitches if you haven't yet.
Fire away.
But before we do that, do you guys have a favorite scene or a favorite quote? Ian,
Oh my God. I mean, there's so many, but like the Steve Buscemi, best guitar player in the world. No, listen. Thanks, Dad.
I feel like we gotta throw some love on John Lovitz just because we haven't yet.
Oh, that's awesome too.
Yes.
The man is just a master of the craft.
Or
one of those guys is perennially underrated, criminally.
I love the Adam Sandler's ex in the movie, and she goes to him like, she's like, Linda. She's like, I realized I'm not in love with the Robbie Hart now. I'm in love with the Robbie Hart lead singer
6 years ago.
Yeah,
lead singer of Final Warning.
Final Warning.
Watch you with your spandex pants and your silk shirt unbuttoned, licking the microphone like David Lee Roth.
There's so many good quotes and scenes. Like I feel like two of my favorite are when he goes back to work when he shouldn't, and he's singing "Holiday" by Madonna.
Yeah.
And just the line, I live in my sister's basement. So the song that gets me. That's one of my favorites. And my other favorite that gets me all the time is when he's talking to he's at the party and it's Glenn's friend, and he's like, "Oh man, you must feel like shit." And he's like, "Yeah, my parents died when I was 10. You want to talk about that?"
Yeah, and that's Stephen Brill. That's the writer of the Mighty Ducks.
Why would we want to talk about that? I don't know.
I was just saying. Mr. Deeds also, and like a couple.
Have a few drinks and drive home.
Drive home.
Yeah, exactly.
Oh my God, there's so much. The Miami Vice soundtrack or theme song playing when Glenn opens up the DeLorean.
You had to throw the DeLorean in there, and the Michael Jackson jacket. I love that, say hi to your brother Tito.
And he had the glove. He had the glove too.
Yeah, I don't know, man. I would lose that glove. You look nuts. Fucking gold. I don't know. Melly, do you have a favorite scene or quote?
I mean, I have a lot. I love just the simple, they were cones.
Yeah.
So thank you for bringing up Alan Covert or however you say his name. He's one of my favorites. Good. He's so good. I feel like this is his best role in any of the Sandler movies, even better than the bum in the bum caddy in Happy Gilmore, which is gold. But
I love that, yeah.
Yeah, I love Grandma's Boy. I just want to give
Grandma's
a
Boy.
quick
Yep.
shout out to
Grandma's
Boy.
Boy is an unsung hero.
I
It's
love
so
that movie.
stupid, but it's so funny.
He's pretty
That's
great.
one that we got to do on VCR at some point. I know it's a little
Drive,
bit past the
monkey,
VHS era.
drive.
Alan Cover. He's pretty good in heavyweights. As he's
Oh
the
yeah.
Kenny
Oh
the
my God.
cameraman.
Oh, I didn't like that movie at
$600
all.
bucks. You don't like
I-
heavyweights.
I
That's
hated
just
that movie.
un-American.
I love
I
heavyweights.
love
I still
Heavyweights.
watch it like once a year.
Me too. I
So
love
do
this.
you always pair it with Camp Nowhere like I do?
No.
No, nobody Camp Nowhere.
I pair it with Good Burger. It makes no sense, but
Oh, I cannot watch Camp Nowhere without heavyweights, and I can't watch heavyweights without Camp Nowhere. They're just like this for me. Like they just go together. They're just
First,
perfect.
there's no better camp movie than Meatballs 4, Meatballs to the Rescue.
There's
All
this
right.
guy. There's this guy with the meatballs.
As if Meatballs 3, My Summer Job, just never fucking happened. Like I don't know what planet you're on, man. Like come on, Patrick Dempsey.
Listen, I'm on the planet where we acknowledge the Feld Dog. All right.
I love Feldog, but it takes 2 Corys to compete with Patrick Dempsey. Not just one ain't getting it done.
Just get out of here.
Just get out. Get right out. All right, there are some pitches in the chat, and I also want to throw some love for Billy Idol because I feel like that's maybe the greatest cameo
He was
ever.
great. He was
Like,
great.
What 80s person would you have had on the airplane? Because for me, it wouldn't have been Billy Idol.
Oh,
Really?
really?
I mean, like, I can't see anybody else.
Yeah,
after
who
this.
else?
Gone straight for Madonna.
Oh, she wouldn't have done Wedding Singer.
She wouldn't have done it, and like she also wouldn't want to like get all dolled up like she looked in the 80s again. You know what I mean? Like that's
Right.
She was like
Yeah.
very hip and cool and 90s
Mhm.
and relevant still. You know?
This was during the Ray of Light years, so I guess it was all dark
she
black.
was. Yeah, she had like moved on from like Lucky
Maybe-
Star and all that.
Maybe
shit,
like
you know?
David Bowie or something. Like that would have been
David Lee
awesome.
Roth would have been a great one.
I was gonna say,
Yes.
Yeah, David Lee Roth could have been good, but
that would have been
Would
kinda
he have-
interesting, but-
looked as much like it's 1985 still in 1998 as Billy Idol did. Like Billy Idol looks like he's plucked straight out of the 80s and into this
Right.
movie.
Yeah,
right.
because
All
he
this-
hasn't.
you know.
He's relatively stayed kind of the same.
Yeah, that is no plastic surgery. That's just good genes right there.
Right.
Yeah, that's just a
Nobody
guy who,
talks
like,
to Billy Idol that way.
Yeah.
so goddamn good. And I also want to say before we're past pitching time, but Julia's mom is amazing. Like I just love like look at that girl. You're a lot prettier than that girl. And that
And
girl's
she's-
getting married.
And she's
Like,
getting married.
Oh,
yeah.
also you got
Which,
you
by the
can't-
way,
you
comes
can't-
from your father's side. Looks like Magnum PI for God's sakes.
you can't forget the best line when he realizes. So what's his last name? He's like Gulia.
Julia.
So you're gonna be Julia Gulia?
Yeah.
I also love when Glenn tells Holly, she's like, "You think the time to make the donuts guy is sexy?" Like, and Robbie's response is like, "That guy is funny." Something about that I love. All right, so pitch time. We have a few in the chat. There's some titles coming from Gold's Code. Surprise, surprise. He says Wedding Singer 2, Starship Singer. He was on our Starship Troopers episode last week, and he's still doing his part even a week later. Also, to pitch Wedding Singer 2, Revenge of the Meatballs. Ian, we combine our greatest franchises.
Solidarity, man. Listen.
Oh, you could totally have
Solidarity.
Feld Dog dressed up as Michael Jackson.
Oh, come on. That sells it all in its own.
Ugh.
All we are no longer friends. I'm sorry, but
Melanie, we're better friends than we've ever been.
I'm
That
not
was, that was
saying
the greatest. That was the greatest shrug sound ever. Like, oh, like,
I'm not saying I wouldn't watch it.
That's like
I'm just
that's like
she
somebody
wouldn't feel
came
good about herself afterwards.
somebody
though.
came over her house with a DVD of City of Angels. That's her reaction.
Oh,
right
yes.
there.
you know, I tried to be on Corey's side for as long as I could, but he makes it real hard.
he really does. I'll give you that one.
Hey, I still love Corey.
I still
Haim.
love him. You
You gotta love Hamster, no doubt about that.
I love Haim and I love
Um,
Feld Dog.
So Angie Saunders says, I have no pitch, but then she proceeds to pitch, which I love. Angie and Mike, Mashup Genius says, if you're looking for good mashups on Facebook, definitely check them out. She says, I have no pitch, although they are married and had kids and went to outer space. So boom, right there is a fantastic pitch.
Well,
There you go.
being singer or like what?
Of all
Whatever.
the franchises I'd never expected to go to space, this is definitely high on that list. But I actually love that. I love taking things to space that don't belong there, because almost nothing belongs in space. And you know, it's like Hawaiian style. Like you could make any movie Hawaiian style, and I'm not saying I wouldn't watch it. You know, I might not feel great.
Oh, but you
afterwards,
could
but I'd
have, you
watch
could totally have a sequel where they do go to Hawaii for their wedding.
They did. It's
And
called
that's 50 First Dates.
Yeah, this
Yeah.
is true. This is
it.
true.
And
So
you know,
could
it's a fair
put 'em
time to
together.
comment. They've tried. This movie was so good that Sandler and Barrymore went back to the well 2 more times and tried to recapture the magic, and failed like horrifically both times for
I
me.
mean,
Like
So
epic
I
swing
thought,
and miss.
I thought 50
Bad.
First Dates was pretty cute. Like
That wasn't
not,
bad.
not
wasn't
real,
bad.
not realistic, and a little weird if you really think about it too hard. But
It's like
But-
watching Adam Sandler try
You
to make
can't think
pure
about-
luck.
Adam Sandler movies too hard at all.
yeah, unless it's The Wedding Singer, because it's not problematic. But
yeah.
yeah, no, 50 First Dates, I actually have always thought that was pretty cute. And the being set in Hawaii doesn't hurt.
I mean,
even
yeah,
if
I
you
love
don't like the
Hawaii.
movies-
You know,
Eat the
even if you don't like
ridiculous.
the movies, they
Yeah.
they have great chemistry together.
they do have good chemistry, but to me, it's you keep going back to the well. Like you're almost cheapening. You can't cheapen Wedding Singer because it's so purely
What was
perfect.
What was the other one? I'm trying to think.
All right.
Blended, I think it was,
All
right?
right, but
What,
Are you-
I heard
oh,
Blended was very bad.
that
But are you-
I didn't. I don't think I
Yeah.
even tried that one. I was
So you're
like,
Hanks and Meg Ryan anymore? Like, you know.
Okay,
Well,
that's
they
a good
did
point, right?
their,
A lot of people
their-
don't realize that they were in
Got
Joe
Mail.
versus the Volcano before they
Oh,
were in
yeah.
Sleepless in Seattle. And then obviously there's another one that people forget about too. That was You Got Mail.
Got
But there's
Mail.
also one more in there.
I
And,
like Sleepless and You Got Mail. I think I like You Got Mail better than Sleepless, but
You
whatever.
know what? And I'm not gonna get into it too much, because then we're gonna end up on a City of Angels tangent. But I've never liked Sleepless in Seattle. I've tried to watch it a few times and I've never liked it.
I kind of liked it when I was a kid, you know. To me it doesn't really age that well. It doesn't like hold up or anything. It was like it was a 90s cable movie for me.
She's
you know? And-
creepy.
Very, I will say this, if you
He's
look
not
at
creepy.
Meg Ryan is creepy in it.
Oh,
Yeah,
well, yeah.
yeah, I concur
But-
with that for sure.
we'll give this to you. It is very Hallmark Christmassy time kind of movie nowadays. Like I get it. I do get that.
But I like
Yeah,
that.
Hallmark
I like
definitely. Hallmark definitely switched from remaking, or no, I'm sorry, I'm mixing up Lifetime and Hallmark now. I gotta like reboot and shut down. My condolences.
Got to be careful.
So-
one's a murder,
Yeah.
one's a Christmas murder mystery. One's a love Christmas.
Well, I just love though, if you think about it, Lifetime just remade The Stepfather like 1,000 times and like called it like a, you know, or whatever. And then Hallmark just remade Sleepless in Seattle like 1,000 times and set it at Christmas, you know,
pretty much.
pretty much, you know.
So
and
if we're gonna go for a
Yeah.
sequel, I just want to get my sequel pitch right now.
okay,
I
yeah.
really liked like the end part where like Billy Idol is like, I like that song. I'm gonna tell those writers about you when I get back to LA or whatever case may be. Like I want them going to LA and I want them like, Billy Idol introducing him to the writers. And I want him to become like, we talk about like behind the music. I want him to become Robbie Hart, like blows up. And then you see like Linda, like, going like, go into a supermarket or some bookstore or whatever like that, and she sees like a magazine with Robbie Hart on the magazine, and it's like Robbie Hart, the greatest songwriter of this decade or whatever like that, because now we go in the 90s, and now Robbie Hart is like the songwriter that everybody wants to go to and this and that, and he's writing all these great like alternative hits and stuff like that, whatever that, because remember he did that song that was like all like new wavy. He was like, I was listening to a lot of The Cure at the time, so so like I feel like that song would have been a hit too. So like you got two songs right off the bat that would have been like, mega hits.
Basically, Mickey, you want to remake Eddie and the Cruisers 2, Eddie Lives with the Wedding Singer is what you really want.
No, I think he wants to make literally like a Christopher Guest style mockumentary. Like it seems to me
That
like
would be awesome. That would be awesome.
I actually went back. I did think of this idea if you were going to do a sequel that that kind of concept. He has to be like a loser now singing at wedding, because nowadays who has singers at their wedding? Like it's almost got to be
nobody.
Like,
right.
Yeah, I mean, really, it's like he's got no chance. And I do think the sequel has to have some like redemption to this, like the DJ. He's working as like at one of these wedding gig places where they rent out halls, and he's like serving food, and all of a sudden the DJ gets sick and food poisoning, and you get a fun Adam Sandler puke moment in this movie, and he's like, I'll save the day, and he just rocks out that song at a wedding, and it like kickstarts the Wedding Singer again, and just becomes like he becomes a thing.
Okay. So you want to take him like basically at the end.
Almost sounds like you want to Rocky V him. Like you want to,
I was
the
just gonna say
work.
that.
Yeah.
I was just
And we see and we saw how well that turned out.
So he starts apprenticing this young guy named Tommy Gunn.
He's building up
shady
Steve
promoter,
Buscemi.
right? George Washington Duke, and I think Richard Gant would be great in the role.
He's building up Steve Buscemi. He writes,
that montage be in the middle where he's singing at all these freaking rock, all these wedding gigs. He started like that becomes the thing again. And
in this version, though, I need Richard Gant saying to Adam Sandler, like, "Do you like reaching in your pocket and only feeling your leg? Do you? I'm offering you a chance to make so much money you can swim in it. You can swim, can't you, darling?" I need that. If your fucking version happens,
punch me.
It doesn't have that scene. It's a crime. Just saying. So there are. I don't think there's much more in the way of pitches in the chat, except for like silly ones like Wedding Singer 2 Airborne, which I mean it's not that silly. I would combine anything with Airborne. It's the greatest movie ever made as his Wedding Singer. Also Dustin Nino in the chat though, our good buddy from Retro Fiend Radio, makers of the finest canon and martial arts docs out there. He says the Wedding Jazz Singer with Sandler and Neil Diamond, please.
Dude, the Jazz Singer with Neil Diamond was so traumatizing to me when I saw that. So I would not want anything related to that movie ever again.
You are an intriguing man, sir.
Son.
It was just that father and son relationship that freaked me the fuck out. I don't know why.
I have never seen the Jazz Singer, so I don't know.
It's horrible. It's horrible.
It's
and I like Neil Diamond. Don't get me wrong. I like Neil Diamond. But
the best part of that song was America. That's about it. That's the best part of that movie. You're not missing.
Coming to America.
Yeah.
Today. Everywhere a flag's unfurled.
See, now I'm just thinking of Saving Silverman. Martin, did you have
we got Melody sway into the music.
I'm a big Neil Diamond fan, actually. I am love a Diamond him head. I am a Diamond much. Head. I love Neil Diamond so much.
Copy of Saving Silverman, one of the greatest movies of the aughts.
It is a really, really solid early aughts comedy. I hate that fucking term aughts, though. I don't know who decided that the early 2000s are going to be called the aughts, but you did. Well, it sounds like something that some crazy bastard would do.
the same guy that came up with the term butt rock, like it's for the bands of that era, because it's like anything
fits, though.
Anything butt rock.
That kind of fits, though. Any rate, getting back to Wedding Singer sequel pitches.
Moving past butt rock, okay.
Yeah, moving past the butt rock back into the glam rock days of 1985.
Things.
Martin, what do you want to see in a Wedding Singer sequel?
So, since this is my debut on here, I really took time and thought about this.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's your first
As I
mistake.
figured you might. As I figured you might. No, it's cool. Some people come in bringing the heat. Some people, you know.
So I have
we
some,
gotta hear my man out here.
so
Don't laugh at him.
I'm laughing at Mickey, you jerk. All right, sorry,
Oh.
Martin, go ahead.
no, I just wanted
Mickey's
to
got the
prepare. I
Mickey
think
gets
I'm
the
very
giggles.
over-
It happens.
I think I'm very over prepared, but
No, good. We
Yeah,
need all the
so-
pizzazz we can get.
all right. So it's been a long time since the first Wedding Singer. Robbie and Julia are married,
Right.
and they have a daughter who's
Okay.
about college age. Wedding singers, like you said, are not needed anymore. They so together they have a family restaurant where Robbie sings. You know, sometime they sing together, him and the daughter, like as a family, entertaining the locals. Very small, but they're happy.
Okay.
It's becoming hard to sustain though, because money's not really coming in because nobody needs wedding singers anymore. So the daughter, I even gave her a name, Rebecca, because I thought way too hard about this.
No, it's good.
Is here's
I like the name
a-
Rebecca.
Here's of a competition hosted by 80s lover and multimillionaire Sebastian Keys, played by Keanu Reeves.
Oh my
Yeah.
god, that would be amazing.
And it's just because I want to see Keanu Reeves like be like kind of a little like, you know, he's doing John Wick and like maybe be a little fun and goofy, a little bit like obsessed with the 80s and quoting things and just saying like commercials, doing commercials and stuff like that.
Okay.
So they decide
Yes, absolutely.
to enter this competition, this to win the $1 million prize.
Okay.
Problem is that they're told they need a full band, and they don't really have much of a band left. So they gather Sammy Ellen Covert and David. I think his name was David when I looked it up.
Yeah, Steve Buscemi, the groom's brother David.
Who, it's nice, but then they realize there's still not much talent here, and so they need more help. So Robbie calls in Billy Idol for a favor, and
that would be awesome.
and said, hey, can you do me a solid? You know, they've been friends for a couple of years now, blah blah blah. Could you? And they have a conversation about how, you know, they really need this money, and you know, he doesn't have a band like he used to anymore, because the passing of George. So Idol's like, yeah, of course, no problem. So Idol gets there, and he has a friend with him, the real boy George, who is gonna be in the band as well and play also.
Oh, that would be awesome.
Meanwhile, I don't remember his name, but John Lovitz's character hears that Robbie is going to enter this competition, and ever since that moment, he's had this weird obsession and hate for Robbie Hart. Ever since he got denied from doing that wedding in the first movie and whatever.
Yeah.
So he decides to enter the competition as well to get revenge and reap all the benefits.
I love it. Anytime John Lovitz is there, I'm here for it.
Yes. And he enters the band with his group of people, which I have like weird casting ideas too. And they go to the competition. Julia, meanwhile, is still dealing with stuff from her mother and friends of how she could have had a better life, and how now they're struggling, and she's still hearing this from other people. And basically, fast forward, Robbie has to understand that, you know, even they need this money, but it's not everything because he had Julia before, you know, all these struggles and whatever. They were always there for each other. And they go to the competition. John Lovitz performs with a bunch of people. I had his band consisted of his brother, who I just had played by Jack Black because I want to see that.
Yeah,
that'd be great. Yeah.
And because he heard that Robbie has Billy Idol and Boy George, he got Slash on guitar and Sheila E on drums.
Oh, that would be ridiculous.
Yeah.
This is like an 80s cruise now. I love it.
Yeah. And so the finals come down to competition time and everything, and Robbie has a whole meltdown. Basically, you know, third act treating people, you know, like being too serious about it, not having fun anymore, and just focused on we really need to win this, and treating his, you know, his daughter bad, and the bandmates and all these people, and has to realize that, you know, like I said before, that it's more than that. So what he does is he leaves the band, right? You know, they're about to perform. He leaves because he remembers that, you know, Julia is more important. Meanwhile, she's struggling with her stuff, and there's more details. I'm skipping over things just because I'm this is right too much. But and he leaves the daughter to perform for the competition because basically she's like the writer is her stuff anyway, and whatever she's writing.
Yeah,
stuff.
that's a good. I like that.
And you know, Jack Black, whatever, they perform, do good, whatever. She performs, they do better, they win. She gets the prize of the, you know, $1 million, and
their kid becomes the rock star.
And the contract or whatever that was promised by Keanu Reeves. Yes, and and then it just cuts to a year later where the daughter is getting married, the place is saved or whatever, you know, they're fine, they don't need to leave or stop doing what they're doing, and Robbie is back to, you know, being happy with Julie, everything's fine, and he's singing as a wedding singer at the daughter's wedding.
Oh, that's cool.
Oh, nice.
To help with Billy Idol and Boy George, and then probably like just for the hell of it, throw in some Karma Chameleon at the end of there, just like while credits are rolling.
Oh yeah, that's a good song. That's a good song to go out on. Nice, happy, bouncy 80s poppy track.
Is a redo of We Are the World at the end, and you just get a bunch of 80s stars to come back and do like.
Oh, that would be great. Yeah.
Yeah, like I said, I had a lot of details and time and like a full cast list and everything, and I was like,
That's
oh,
awesome.
okay, I didn't have to be this detailed. Okay, I know. Okay.
No, but that's cool though. I mean, it always helps to like make shit real to think it through, and to like, oh, it wouldn't be cool if this character, I've done that. I've gotten, sometimes it's flying off the tip of my head, but we did our Bad Santa 3 episode. I was like, if Jack Nicholson's going to play Billy Bob's father and, Kathy Bates, is back as his mother, sometimes that's what makes it great. I feel like I sort of took this in a different direction maybe than everyone else was taking it. In my mind, there are certain things that like you don't touch, and it's like hard for me to even imagine. Like Wedding Singer it's a sacred cow, you know what I mean? It's a holy, just perfect thing. And like part of me feels like the way to do it is to make it more of a spin-off than a direct sequel. Like, because let's face it, it's, Wedding Singer was 13 years in the past at the time. So if you do Adam Sandler and Drew Barrymore, you have to be 13 years in the past from now. So that puts you at about 2009. And I don't know if like it's that funny to like make fun of 2009 the way that it is to make fun of like 1985 was in 1998.
Unless they're still dressing and acting as though it's 1985.
You're so
there's that.
8. All right, like
there's that. But I also thought whatever. I also just feel like, in one sense,
he's gonna avoid your Black Eyed Peas reference.
Oh, I didn't even catch, went over my head. But I also feel like in a certain sense, anything you see from Robbie and Julia at this point is maybe going to be like dissatisfying, because like you just think of them riding off into the sunset on like a lawnmower, you know what I mean? Like this glorious kind
Growing
of like,
old.
oh, happily ever after. But to me, the story that I immediately want to see that takes place like the second after Wedding Singer ends is the story of Dave, you know,
Yeah.
Steve Buscemi's character. Like I would watch a whole movie based on him, and like you can, that gives you the opportunity to sort of make it a little bit different, make it a little bit more your own. Like doesn't have to be in Connecticut. Maybe Dave moved back to Jersey, you know, and you sort of have a different vibe. And oh, we lost Ian again. But in the spirit of what you were saying, Martin, of casting it out, like one thing I always thought was that it would be great to see a movie about Dave and, you know, Steve Buscemi, you know, falling off the wagon over and over again, getting it together, falling off the wagon. But the girl he pursues, I think, would be perfectly played by Debbie Mazar. I think it would just be
That'd be
perfect. They've
awesome.
worked together.
Okay.
They're old friends. She was in a movie that Buscemi directed called Trees Lounge, which is like a really fucking weird ass movie, but a really good movie.
It's a good movie.
And I thought like, boom, that's a great movie. I would watch that. It could still be 80s as fuck, but you do a little bit more of that like New Jersey 80s, a little bit of like Betsy's Wedding, a little bit of fucking what's the one? Anyway, but you get the point. You can keep it 80s because like Buscemi doesn't really matter if he looks a little bit older now, you know, like he basically still looks, and even if he is older, that's fine. You just do it, like, because Buscemi's just that good. But the other thing I thought is it would also be interesting, and I love the way you combined all these in yours, which is kind of why I sort of prefer your pitch. But I also thought a separate movie you could do would just be Ladies Night, you know, about Jimmy Moore. Like that's a fucking character I would absolutely watch an entire movie of, and this world needs more John Lovitz movies. So I would watch the shit out of that.
I thought it'd be funny if I thought it'd be funny if originally I thought, oh, maybe Keanu Reeves could be like this multimillionaire like bad guy, and the only reason he's doing this competition is because I thought it'd be funny because it would make no sense if Jimmy Moore, John Lovitz was like his brother, because they look so much alike. And like he's doing it for like, oh, because, you know, even make him his younger brother, that'd be funny because he's not younger than him,
right? Yeah.
And just something along those lines of like, oh yeah, you know, he hasn't forgotten what you did, Robbie Hart or whatever, and like now it's time to reap the benefits.
I do like that. I think there's a lot,
but I don't like the daughter being the star. They
No.
robbed me.
Mickey
They
doesn't
robbed
like that
because I don't like the ending of Bill and Ted 3 spoilers, you know, where the kids were like, you know, write the song and shit like that. I waited all these years for Bill and Ted to write the fucking song, and now you're telling me that the daughters wrote the song. Come on.
I love Bill and Ted. Excellent Adventure, that first movie.
Is it that the daughters wrote the song? I don't think I've rewatched it.
I only seen that new one time, so I don't really.
Yeah, the daughters are really the ones that did it, but whatever.
The first one I've seen like 100 times.
So Robbie Hart needs to be the star.
Oh, Mickey refuses spin-offs, just shoots me down. Well, what can you do?
No. I
No,
like your idea too.
Yeah.
I'm saying, like,
Martin's pitch.
You just switch that. The daughter goes off, and Robbie Hart, you know, gets his like.
I ain't gonna say I actually really like that Martin's pitch that he passed the torch to the daughter, and like if Robbie didn't become a rock star or a songwriter or a Richard Marx type or whatever, then you would hope that like he had a good enough run with it, and then his daughter, you know, takes.
If you saw that, that'd be good. I mean, you got to give Robbie Hart that.
The only reason I wanted to do that was because Linda in the first movie only liked him because he was going to be a rock star or something like that. So I just wanted him to realize that he didn't need to be that for Julia or for anybody. And it was a dream that wasn't even there anymore. It wasn't for him anymore. It wasn't his thing.
I do think though, I mean, like to me, just as a fan of the original, I do need a really solid explanation as to why he didn't at least have success as a songwriter. Like, yeah, you know, she
Exactly.
goes, "You want to be a rock star?" He goes, "No, I wanted to be a songwriter." You
Yeah,
know, I
yeah.
think like the way I see it is that's where his career goes. You keep seeing him writing songs. You put him the stuff to write songs on. You know,
Yeah.
he's in the fucking car on the way to the airport. Oh, give me a pen. I got a good idea for a song. You know,
Well,
like that's so much of who he is. You know,
like I said, I wrote way too much things, but my thing was that like there was going to be like rounds and whatever until the final competition or whatever.
Okay.
And he has all his songs written, but like his daughter, like she likes to write songs too, and she's become like her own rock star because
Yeah.
she's seen dad on stage young doing weddings or whatever at the restaurant they have now, just singing with people. So not that he wasn't a writer or he wasn't good enough or anything like that, he was still doing it. It's just that she like followed into that as well. But like I said, I wrote way too much.
I love it though. I really do think that there is a lot of fun in that. There's just a few little things I would tweak in that personally. Like I said, seeing that, you know, he had some success. Like if they have a family restaurant, it's got to be sort of, you know, Rocky Balboa-ish in the sense that it's littered with all his accomplishments throughout the years. You know, that
They
he
could
had a
end up
great run of
they could
things
end
and
up,
like
since they were on their way to Vegas, they could end up just living there, staying
gross.
there.
You also could do a honeymoon in Vegas thing, you know, if time and money were no issue, and you could just digitally de-age Drew Barrymore and Adam Sandler and have them do honeymoon in Vegas. Would probably be better than blended. I'm just saying. There's lots of potential here, and for those of you at home wondering where the hell did Ian Klink go, he lost internet. So I guess if you want to see some more of Ian Klink, you'll have to tune in next week, guys. But we are just about out of time. However, before we wrap it up, is there anything you guys have got coming up you want to let the people know about? I know, Mickey, you've been in the studio recording. I know you're laying down some solos very soon.
Yep, this weekend.
How close are the people at home to hearing Rick Barth and the Lions' latest creation?
It's gonna be a little bit. I probably foresee this maybe in January.
All right, folks. Well, you heard it here first. Melanie, Martin, anything you guys have got coming up or newly out besides? Well, I know Melanie, Earth Girls Are Easy is out. There's a fantastic Blu-ray, by the way.
Just for the record, I did not produce those special features. My studio we just recorded the commentary, but it was still really fun to be involved in and to work with Mike Perez because we don't get to do that much together.
Well, I'm a big fan of Melanie's. I'm a big fan of Mike's. So anytime I get to support the two of them, I'm honored to do so. And it honestly is so far the Blu-ray of the year for me. It's a really great disc. The transfer looks great. The commentary, which was recorded at your place, sounds fantastic. And
there was a lot of work put into it. Yeah, there were a lot of people who I know Mike Perez and Michael Felcher both worked very hard on that. So.
Well, it is a steal of a deal on Amazon right now, or wherever you get your Blu-rays. Go out there and get that one. Martin, what's the latest article drop on Fandom Spotlite?
The only thing I have to plug is that every November, weirdly enough, I do something Nick Cage November. Yes. And I just revisit as much Nick Cage as I can or see new stuff that I haven't. So I've been writing a couple of articles, doing reviews of a couple of, you know, some of the maybe popular stuff that maybe people haven't seen or just,
Leaving Las Vegas.
That's a pretty popular one.
It's a popular one. Yeah.
8mm.
So far, I've done Face Off, I've done Wicker Man, and I have a couple more that I'd like to talk about. So.
Very cool. We'll definitely stay tuned to Fandom Spotlite for all that stuff. As well, you Fandom fans might want to check out Monday's Walking Dead reaction panel with our very own Governor Captain Kyle. And of course, we want you to come back next Wednesday at 9 p.m. when we lend you an ear for our Universal Soldier episode. As always, if you enjoyed this video, the best way to help is to smash that like button and leave a comment telling us what movie or TV franchise that you want us to cover on a future episode of VCR Redux. And since you're already doing that, you might as well go ahead and like, subscribe, and follow Fandom Spotlite, the Howl 9 Network, and Pop Culture Punk. And be sure to pick up your copy of Earth Girls Are Easy on Blu-ray today. Till then, back up those Betamax, rewind those Laserdiscs, and we'll see you at the movies.